Descendants: The Rise of Red is the fourth installment in the Descendants film series and premiered on July 12th on Disney Plus in the United States and will have its television premiere on Disney Channel in August 2024. The release of The Rise of Red marks the first major Descendants project in 5 years since 2019's Descendants 3 and 3 years since 2021's Descendants: The Royal Wedding. With only 2 returning characters from previous Descendants installments, The Rise of Red offers a new story about Red, the Princess of Wonderland and the daughter of the Queen of Hearts. Unlike the previous Descendants films, which usually have a runtime of around 1 hour and 50 minutes, The Rise of Red's runtime is actually about 20 minutes shorter, around 1 hour and 30 minutes. As a longtime Descendants fan, I truly went into this movie with a pretty open mind, and I was very optimistic to see how this film would live up to the previous Descendants installments. And unfortunately, I am hesitant in making this video because I have a lot of thoughts about this film, and they're kind of unorganized, and there's just a lot to unpack in The Rise of Red, especially because Descendants means so much to me. And I have gotten a lot of comments asking if I would review The Rise of Red, so
I've got to give the people what they want.
This is the official warning to click away now if you have not seen The Rise of Red, because from now on I will be spoiling the movie and kind of dissecting it through the lens of a longtime Descendants fan. A super brief plot summary of the film is that Mal, Evie, Jay, and Ben are off on a way. They are going to distant lands to kind of make allies with other kingdoms, and in the meantime, they have left Uma in charge of Auradon Prep. So Uma is now the new principal of Auradon Prep, and Fairy Godmother is going to be the president of Auradon University. Uma's first order as principal of Auradon Prep is to invite all of the VKs from other lands to Auradon Prep, specifically Princess Red from Wonderland, who is the daughter of the Queen of Hearts. So Fairy Godmother and Uma send an invitation to Red and her mother, and Red doesn't think that her mother is going to let her go, but her mother surprisingly decides to let Red go, and they will go to the welcoming day ceremony that Uma has planned at Auradon Prep. When Red and her mom arrive at Auradon Prep, Chloe Charming and her mother Cinderella meet them, and it is revealed that the Queen of Hearts' name is actually Bridget, and that she and Cinderella know each other, and there was a big falling out because of a prank that happened a long time ago. Uma comes in, performs a little bit of her signature song, What's My Name, and then the Queen of Hearts decides to incite a coup and take over Auradon. When this happens, Cinderella takes a stand against the Queen of Hearts, and then the Queen of Hearts decides to let Red decide Cinderella's punishment, so they decide to go off with Cinderella's head, and Cinderella gets taken away, and Chloe gets really emotional. Red's constant fears that she's going to turn out just like her mother catch up to her, and in a fit of panic, she decides to use the pocket watch, which is a time machine that Maddox Hatter, the son of the Mad Hatter, gave to Red in the beginning of the film. And as she is about to travel back in time, Chloe lunges at her, and the both of them make contact, and then they both end up in the past. After Chloe and Red duke it out for a little bit, they decide to stop whatever prank caused the Queen of Hearts to become the Queen of Hearts from happening. The girls run into Merlin, who is the headmaster of Merlin Academy, which is what Auradon Prep used to be called before it became Auradon Prep officially, and he takes them into his alchemy class, and there they meet their parents when they were teenagers. So Red gets paired with Bridget, who is the young Queen of Hearts, and Chloe gets paired with Ella, who is young Cinderella. For whatever reason, Ella kind of hates Chloe, and Red realizes that her mom actually used to be really sweet. Bridget offers to comfort Red by offering her a cupcake with a special flamingo feather that makes everything kind of turn pink after eating it, and then she decides to introduce the girls to a bunch of people at Merlin Academy, including Aladdin, Jasmine, Fairy Godmother, and Prince Charming, and then after that, and they sing a little bit of a song and do some dancing, Uliana and her gang show up. So there's Uliana, the younger sister of Ursula, as well as Hades, Maleficent, Morgie, and Hook. For whatever reason, Uliana has a fascination with the flamingo feather cupcakes and steals all of them from Bridget and eats all of the feathers, even though Bridget told her not to, and then Uliana kind of turns into a flamingo almost and is very upset, so she starts chasing Bridget around, and they run around the school, eventually resulting in Uliana falling in the water and the magic from the flamingo feathers rubbing off. At this point, Uliana vows to destroy Bridget, and Red and Chloe realize that Uliana is the one who is going to pull the prank on the Queen of Hearts, and they need to stop her. To get information on Uliana and her whereabouts, Red and Chloe show up at Lady Tremaine's house, which is where Cinderella lives, and Chloe breaks a vase and gets Ella into a lot of trouble, and again, Ella starts to hate Chloe even more, and they do end up learning about where Uliana's lair is, and they go there, and Uliana performs the best song in the film, and then finds out that she needs to get the Sorcerer's Cookbook, which will have a spell in it that she can use to prank Bridget. While trying to get the book before Uliana, Red and Chloe get into a fight, and chaos ensues, and Red makes a really cruel comment about Chloe's mom getting killed. Since Chloe is so distraught, she heads over to Ella and asks her for help because, I mean, that's technically Chloe's mom. And they sing a really good song and kind of clean up Lady Tremaine's house. And Ella's disdain for Chloe kind of disappears. So Chloe finally realizes that it's okay to break the rules if she's doing it for a good cause. So she runs over to Red and they decide to break into Merlin's office to get the Sorcerer's Cookbook before Uliana. The book is protected by some magical safeguards, though, so there are some swords that almost kill the girls, and there are some owls as well as a knight, and Chloe ends up saving Red's life by breaking her shoes that Cinderella gave her earlier in the movie. This causes the magical knight to disappear, and he is no longer able to kill Red. Then Uliana and her gang show up and take the book, but when they open the cookbook, they get frozen because the book does not allow evil people to use it. Red decides to open the book, and thankfully she doesn't get frozen, which proves to herself that she is not evil like her mother. With this victory and Uliana not being able to prank Bridget now because she is in detention, Red and Chloe decide to head back to their own time, and they do. And when they arrive right before the Queen of Hearts is about to incite the coup, but instead of inciting the coup, Red's mom finally accepts her as her daughter, and they sing a cute little reprise of Life is Sweeter. And it's clear now that Red got what she wanted, and their mission was successful, and Uliana never pranked Bridget, so now Bridget is no longer an evil queen. While everyone in the courtyard starts to dance to like a 45-second remix of Life is Sweeter, Uma addresses the audience asking the beautiful question, "You didn't think that was the end of the story, did you?" And it actually was the end of this movie. So it ended pretty abruptly. There wasn't any like big resolution, kind of just everyone got what they wanted, like Uma even said herself, and it just ended. Even though there seemed to be a lack of something in The Rise of Red, there's still a lot to unpack here. So I'm going to categorize my thoughts and opinions into 3 separate parts. So the first part will be music, because I think it's the part I'm the most passionate about, characters, and lastly, story. Starting off with the music in The Rise of Red, I have to be completely honest and admit that I am extremely disappointed in the soundtrack as a whole. There are moments in songs that I do like, and there are certain songs that I like, but as a whole, the soundtrack just felt like a lot of demos for maybe something else and not Descendants. Starting off with the opening number, Red. I don't mind this song. I don't love it. I will say that I do love Kylie Cantrell's voice. I think she sounds very good, and I think she's performing this song well. It's difficult to really explain how I feel about this song because this song is mostly a solo. There are some parts that are sung by somebody else, but it's mostly a solo, and it's the opening number. And all of the previous Descendants films had opening numbers that were absolute bangers and included multiple voices and multiple characters performing in them. Like I said, though, I do really enjoy Kylie's performance on this song, and I also like the sounds of like the soldiers. It sounds very like Pirates of the Caribbean, like soldier, like Disney-like. So it sounds very Disney while also being a rock mafia song. So I definitely do not dislike this song. I just don't love it. It's personally just like not my style, and I think that's why I'm not super in love with it. Next is So This Is Love, performed by Cinderella and Prince Charming, and it's okay. Brandy sounds great. They sound great. It's a really sweet scene. It is a cover of the song from the film Cinderella, so it was written in the 40s, and it definitely sounds like that. So Brandy sounds great. It's a sweet scene, but not my type of song. If there's a skip on the Rise of Red soundtrack, it definitely is Love Ain't It for me. I do not like the song. I think it's long. I think it's boring. I do not enjoy it in the slightest. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but I really just don't enjoy this song, and it's just my opinion. Again, though, I think everyone on this song sounds great. Kylie, Brandy, Malia, Rita, they all sound great on this song. I just don't like the song itself. What's My Name is still an absolute banger. I still love this song after all of these years. China sounds great. I do like Red's verse, even though it's not on the song in the movie. I do kind of wish that Uma would have gotten a new song, though. Fight of Our Lives is also a song that I really don't like. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy this scene. I was really hoping and praying that the cringe rap lyrics in Descendants movies would have stayed in Descendants 2 with It's Going Down and Descendants 3 with Night Falls, but here we are. I don't see the logic in this song at all. Like, they spend the whole song talking about how they're not going to work together, they want to do it on their own, they're not going to be together, and then for whatever reason, super quickly in the bridge, they decide to work together. It doesn't flow right, in my opinion. I don't like this. But again, I have to give flowers to Kylie and Malia. The vocals are good. Like, I like the way they sound in this song, and I do sort of like the beat of the song, like the actual music of the song. I just don't like the song as a whole, and I don't like what it represents. Life is Sweeter is the song that I was looking forward to the most just because I like the title. I like the sentiment of thinking that life is sweeter. And for the most part, I did enjoy it. I love, 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 love the beginning with Bridget. I love her first verse. It's just the pop girly in me was buzzing throughout the first half of this song, but I do not like Uliana's part when her and her gang enter. The transition is just so abrasive that it sounds like two completely different songs. Now, when Uliana and her gang do start singing, I like what they're singing. I like what they're saying. I just don't like it in Life is Sweeter. I feel like this is a completely different song at this point. And then when they come together at the end, why are they singing about the darkness in a song called Life is Sweeter? Like, it just doesn't make sense. They should have just given the scene a beat, taken a little pause after Life is Sweeter, and then introduced Uliana with this same part of the song, but her own song. Like, if these were two different songs, I would have no notes for Life is Sweeter, and I would have no notes for whatever Uliana's introduction was. It's just such a jarring transition, and it really takes me out of the song, and honestly kind of ruins the song for me. But Uliana came to serve in Perfect Revenge. This is without a doubt the best song on the soundtrack in my opinion. I adore this song. Dara Renee is so crazy talented. I have absolutely no notes, not a single note. This song is pure perfection in my opinion. Shuffle of Love doesn't actually get to make a full appearance in the film, and I really kind of despise the way that it was used in the film because, again, I think Bridget constantly putting on and taking off the headphones to hear snippets of the song was really abrasive. Like, it didn't flow very well, and it was just kind of like, it didn't hurt my ears, but like my ears were like, can you not? The song itself, though, is fine. I don't love it. It's just a pretty basic bubblegum pop song. Ruby Rose, though, does give a great performance on it. Get Your Hands Dirty, I think, is my favorite song from the movie. Even though I think Perfect Revenge is objectively just, like, a better song, I think my personal enjoyment is higher with Get Your Hands Dirty. I think it's a really catchy song. It provokes thoughts in my head, and I think that Morgan and Malia sound really great on the song. So, overall, I really love Get Your Hands Dirty. The final song in the film is a reprise of Life is Sweeter, and it's super short and super sweet. I do really like this take on the song between Red and her mom. Since it is so short, there's not a lot to really digest from this song, but Rita and Kylie sound super beautiful together, and overall, this scene is very beautiful, even though it is very quick. Directly after this, there is also a really quick remix of Life is Sweeter, but there's no actual choreography going on, and the remix is really short, so again, not really a song that I particularly enjoy. It's just to put like a cute little bow at the end of the film, but I have more thoughts on this, and I will talk about that in just a second. So overall, the music in The Rise of Red did fall a little bit flat for me, but I wasn't expecting like the greatest soundtrack ever because I think there's already a different Disney franchise that has better songs. But I think the soundtrack is alright. I think it's probably the weakest soundtrack out of all of the Descendants films, but it does have some standouts like Perfect Revenge and Get Your Hands Dirty, for me at least. My biggest complaint with the movie itself and the soundtrack when it comes to music, and this is honestly like my biggest issue with the movie because it means this much to me, there is no final big grand dance number. Ever since The Cheetah Girls, the first ever Disney Channel original movie to be a musical, was released in 2003, all of the major DCOM movie musicals have had some type of grand finale dance sequence with a great banger of a song, including High School Musical, Camp Rock, Lemonade Mouth, all three of the movies in the Descendants trilogy. And even other DCOM musicals that I didn't mention featured some type of big grand finale musical number. And that just wasn't in The Rise of Red. And I think that is probably the most like offensive thing that the movie did because it's definitely a key ingredient in the Descendants formula to have that big finale. And there was no big finale. So I'm going to end it there with the music. The next section of my thoughts is kind of all-encompassing about the characters in The Rise of Red, but this should be pretty brief because I have very few good things to say and very few bad things to say. To make it a little bit sweeter, I'm going to start with the positives. So for characters, I am confidently saying, and I truly mean this, every single actor and actress in this movie brought their A game. I think all of the characters were played really well. I didn't see any bad acting or any bad acting choices. I think everyone who had a moment to shine, shined really well. This cast has so much talent, and I would love to see them in another Descendants film. That being said, though, there were certain characters that I wish would have gotten more screen time and more chances to shine. I felt really encapsulated and mesmerized by Maleficent in this movie, and I would have loved to see more of her and if she had more scenes. The same goes for Hades as well as Teen Prince Charming. I think they deserved a little bit more screen time and a little bit more character development to see where they were at as characters. I think that they were played very well, but I just wanted to see more of them. I want to see more of them. In the case of Hades and Maleficent, they barely had any lines, but in each scene that they were in, I couldn't stop looking at them. I think they had great presence, so I would love to see them in future installments because I think they probably have a lot to bring to the Descendants world. And Zelly, poor Zelly. I have no thoughts on Zelly, but I do feel pretty bad for the actress because this is a named role in this film, and she literally had 1 second of screen time. She wasn't even mentioned by name, so I feel like she probably had a bigger role that was cut, and it seems like a lot of stuff was probably cut from this movie, and it makes me wonder why. I really did love the characters from the Merlin Academy era. They kept me pretty engaged with the film, so I wish I could have seen more of them. And speaking directly on the looks and the outfits of the characters, I think that it's very obvious that things were rushed in literally almost every single scene. Chloe has a different wig on, even though it's meant to be same day, same place, same time frame. It's always different. Even her pants have been shown to be different materials in different shots. So clearly something was not going right with the styling and the wig department and even the outfits. Something was not right and something had to happen to where maybe they had to do reshoots. I don't know, but there's such an inconsistency in literally what the characters look like. And that is really, really detrimental, I think, to the overall look and feel of the movie because it makes the movie feel rushed. The movie doesn't seem as refined and as polished as the previous Descendants films, so it kind of makes it stand out in not a good way. And even though I think every single actor and actress in this movie brought their A game, a huge standout performance to me was Dara Renee as Uliana. Now, I knew Dara Renee was talented, but I did not know she was this talented. I ate up every single second that Uliana was on the screen, and I could not wait to see her again in the next scene. So even though I don't think that these characters in The Rise of Red had very strong design choices, I do think that every single one of them is exceptionally talented, and I would love to see more of them. And now I'm going to briefly talk about the story and overall plot of the film and the issues that I have with it. Granted, knowing this movie was going to be about time travel, I figured somehow it would get messy, and it was pretty messy. Aside from the super abrupt ending of the movie, which I think is downright unacceptable, one thing that really stuck out to me and I really do not like about this film actually comes later in the film as well, when it is heavily implied that the Queen of Hearts did go through with the execution of Cinderella. I feel like this is extremely dark and does not fit the tone of the film, and also doesn't fit the character of the Queen of Hearts, because it's very obvious earlier in the film when Bridget and Cinderella meet again as adults that Bridget is hurt. It's very clear when Rita was acting that Rita was trying to portray hurt. And it also seems so extreme because earlier in the film, before that scene even, Rita's character of the Queen of Hearts is kind of shown to be ridiculous and scary, but also a little bit kooky. She's a little bit goofy. She's kind of silly because her expectations are so outlandish. And the whole point of using a plot device like that is to raise the stakes, and I don't think it raised the stakes at all. It just allowed for there to become some tension between Red and Chloe, because Red made a heinous comment about it, and then Chloe just forgave her like 10 minutes later. The fallout of it, everything just about the implication that Cinderella got decapitated is just messy, and I don't like the way it was handled, and I don't like what it does between the two leads, between Red and Chloe, as well as what it means for Rita Ora's Queen of Hearts. Like, why should she have to be completely changed when she was originally the one that was wronged by Uliana in the past? It just took away all of the Queen's humanity, which it's shown earlier in the film that the Queen does have a sense of humanity, especially when Red says she doesn't want to be like her. It also just felt so dark and didn't fit tonally in this film. I simply just don't like it, and I don't have anything else to explain on it. I do not like it, and I feel like it resulted in a messy and abrupt ending. So was that type of plot point really worth it? But I do want to end my review of Descendants: The Rise of Red on a positive, lighter note. So I will say that every single scene that had Uma and Fairy Godmother was my favorite. I think that every scene with Uma was done so well, and the tribute to Cameron Boyce was beautiful. Overall, I would give Descendants: The Rise of Red a 6.5 out of 10. It is definitely not my favorite Descendants movie, but I think there is a lot of potential in this new Descendants cast. I would like to see more of these characters, and I would love to see a real resolution to all of the problems that they're facing in this movie. I do not believe that The Rise of Red is a bad movie at all. I don't think there's such a thing as a bad Descendants movie, and I don't think there will ever be a bad Descendants movie, but this definitely has some issues. It definitely felt a little bit rushed at times. It felt like the character designs weren't really finalized until filming had already almost wrapped. I felt like there were a few plot devices that were just throwaways, and I also feel like there were some spectacular performances in this movie. To me, The Rise of Red doesn't really feel like a summer film like the other Descendants movies do. This one feels more like an October movie, like it should have come out in the fall. I don't quite know why I think that, but it is definitely something that I was thinking about. So, while not the best Descendants film, I think that The Rise of Red was okay, and like I've been saying, I would like to see more of these characters and see their stories progress in the future. I would love to know all of your thoughts on Descendants: The Rise of Red, so let me know what you thought about the film down in the comments below, and let's discuss all of the magic that this movie had to offer. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on another Descendants: The Rise of Red video. And more importantly, don't forget to drink your water, mind your business, and remember that you are a goddamn superstar. I love you. Peace.